Scott, you said to me the other day that you'd be desperate to stop talking about the January transfer window, so obviously that's where we're going to start. What a window for you and MK Dons.
Yeah, I think we ended up doing a lot of work in the end, which we probably didn't envisage when I first come in, certainly. But I think as the weeks have progressed and the more kind of like I got to know the group, the more that I felt that it needed doing. And the chairman and Neil and Liam have really kind of worked hard in the background, along with the recruitment team, to make that happen. So yeah, a lot of work has gone in, but I think that when you kind of look at what the squad looked like before January and look at what the squad looks like now, I think I'm really pleased with the work that's been done. So yeah, I think it's been a busy window, but I think it's been a real successful one.
I think when you look at the players that have come in versus the ones that have gone out, you've bought players who can come in and start in your side. And the players who have gone were kind of those ones that most people probably would have looked at and thought, okay, so they're not surplus to requirements per se, but they're the ones who aren't going to get as much first team football. Yeah,
but I think what we've done as well is we've kind of skinned it down a little bit in terms of numbers, so it's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more workable. You know, there's been times when I want to coach a 11v11, which I have to because we have to coach the team and prepare the team for a Saturday game where there's been 5 or 6 players stood on the sideline now. That's not fair on them. It's not fair on us as staff either. So, you know, when it is like that, it has been a little bit difficult to work with. And these players who have been stood on the sideline are proper players as well. So it's difficult for me to kind of work with. So I think what we've done is we've streamlined that. The numbers are a lot healthier now. And also, this week has been probably the first week that we've actually had some academy players joining in with the first team because the numbers been more workable. And that way I get my eyes on these academy players, and of course we want a pathway for them to come through and be part of what we're doing as well. So that's a massive plus. But of course the ones we've signed I think are going to really help us kick forward now.
Let's start with the incomings then. You got Travis in. Looks like an exciting prospect again from Aston Villa.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, very young still. It's his first loan, but he's got potential to be a really, really good player. You know, very quick, powerful, wide player. Can play as a fullback as well if we did flip to a back four. You know, and we probably feel that in them wide areas we've not had loads of competition in terms of numbers. You know, I think obviously Joe and Aaron have kind of been, you know, the main players in them positions, and we've not had any players to kind of push, which is always healthy for competition, you know, so that was important that we got that. But yeah, he's going to be a very good player, and we really like what we've seen so far in training.
And then Connell as well coming in, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Connell's somebody that I didn't know too much about. Obviously, he was at Millwall being on loan to Crawley, funny enough. But spoke to people at Crawley and they spoke really highly of him, and we kind of watched him in detail, and you know, with Brighton kind of calling Tom back, and with Craig injured at the moment, we obviously needed to get one in, you know. So listen, he fits the bill really well. He's trained really well, so exciting to see him.
Was that a relatively late call from Brighton that they wanted Tom back? Because obviously it was sort of announced about an hour after the deadline had closed.
It was flagged probably a week or so ago that they was thinking about you know, him returning. So we had to get to work really quickly. Of course, we've got a good recruitment department here, so we kind of had a short list of players already in that position. So we just got to work with it and made that one happen. So yeah, I'm pleased to get Connell in.
And of course, striker Danilo also a massive signing, I think, for the club at this point.
Yeah, listen, he's somebody obviously I've worked with before, and he did really well for me last season. And I think he scored something like 25 goals in 50 games or something like that, which is 1 in 2, obviously. But his work ethic, you'll see, he just works his socks off. Just great lad as well. Will kind of add to the culture of the football club as well, of how we want the dressing room to look and how we want the players to behave. So he'll add to that. But great lad, brilliant addition, I think.
And certainly one with, I mean, you mentioned his record, a calibre of getting goals and at this level.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously he got his move to League One with Burton Albion. I'm not sure on his goal scoring record there, but it's probably around 7 or 8, something like that, with probably not as many starts as what he would have liked, but yeah, kind of like a bit of a stop-start season for him with Burton. But they've had probably a poor campaign, you would call it, so probably not being smooth for him. But yeah, somebody that I think will be really good for us certainly for this run-in.
Knowing that he moved in the summer, were you a little bit surprised that he was maybe available? Because, you know, in our heads, normally those sorts of things are, you give
yes
him a couple
and no.
of years.
I think yes and no. I think yes because of I know what he's capable of, and no because, you know, sometimes clubs make big investments during a certain summer window, and they sign a lot of players, and then, you know, I think it's their third if you include their interim manager, I think it's their third manager they've had this season. So, you know, of course, when that happens, there's lots of movement and ins and outs, and maybe the new manager didn't fancy him for whatever reason, but I certainly did, so we'll take that. But yeah, he's going to definitely add to us moving forward.
In terms of the outs then on deadline day, it was 3 contracts cancelled, wasn't it? Matt Dennis, Tom Carroll and Joe Pritchard. Were they just like 3 of those players you mentioned earlier just sort of kind of stood on the sidelines during those games, just not enough room for them in the end?
Yeah, I think so, and I think, listen, all 3 were great lads and, you know, added to what we was doing at the time, but I felt that maybe their game time would be limited, and we have to be fair, you know, and we had really honest conversations with all 3 of them players, and you know, sometimes you have to be ruthless but honest. I think that's fair to say, and yeah, I'm sure they'll go and you know, well, I know obviously Pritchard's gone on to Oldham. TC's probably going to get another club because he's such a good footballer. But like I say, game time would have been limited for him because of the amount of players we had in them positions. Matt Dennis obviously had gone out on loan and played at Rochdale, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of clubs looking to secure him. But yeah, I just felt that them 3 players probably would be limited in terms of game time for us.
And then of course Ellis Harrison joining Walsall. I mean, massive move for him.
Yeah, it is. Ellis wanted to go and wanted to play football. You know, I couldn't guarantee him that with Scott Hogan and with Callum Hendry. I felt, you know, we're slightly in front of him as much as we used him. And if there was an opportunity for a player to go and play football elsewhere, and he made that clear that he wanted to do that, then I felt it was right for that to happen. You know, like I say, then it opened the door for Danilo Orsi to come in, and I felt that was the right thing and probably the right thing to do for this football club. I think Ellis is a great character, and he'll do well at Walsall. But listen, he wanted that move, and we had to honour that.
So now the shutters are down, everything's settled. This is your squad. You happy with it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's been an amazing window. You know, I'm really pleased, and I have to be grateful really for the investment from the chairman and the work that's gone in the background from Liam, Neil, and the chairman as well, and the recruitment team and all my staff. You know, the amount of hours we've put into making sure that the squad looks something like. I think we've done a lot of work that probably stops us from doing so much work in the summer. I think we're probably a window ahead of where we should be, which I think is important, especially if we're going to go forward. So yeah, I think it's been amazing, and yeah, it's now time to reset the button now, and you know, and we'll have a real gather up, get together, and kind of understand what we've got to do now, and we're ready to do that. So yeah, I think it's been a great window.
And it's funny that it's Bromley all over again, isn't it? Because Bromley was your first game, and that felt like a big reset in terms of the club when you came in, and now it's Bromley this weekend, and it's like, well, this is the start of almost the second part. I
didn't think of that actually, but yeah, you're right. Obviously, it was my first game in charge, tough game away from home that was, and we scored quite early in the game, if I remember. Joe Tomlinson scoring quite early. But yeah, it was a tough game, and you know, again, it's going to be a tough game this next one. So yeah, we'll be prepared for that. Obviously, they had quite a long journey to Salford on Tuesday night. A tough game on a real heavy pitch. Strange game really, because they were 3-0 up and then ended up drawing the game 3-3. So a really strange game, but you know, would have taken a lot of energy out of the players mentally and physically. So let's hope they turn up tired, because they are a strong outfit. I think Andy Woodman's done a fantastic job there this season. You know, first time in the Football League, and they're kind of in and around it, aren't they? You know, so they've had a great season. So yeah, we know it's going to be a tough game.
I think probably you'd say 2 out of the last 3 performances from your side have shown a lot of promise. The AFC Wimbledon one, and certainly aspects of the game at Doncaster. But you'll be wanting to cut out those mistakes that we spoke about on Saturday night and take that in and like we say, almost reset the season and start from Saturday.
You always want to cut mistakes out, you know, no matter what, no matter where you are in the league, where you are in terms of building the squad. We always want to cut the mistakes out. We never want to have mistakes, but
I put in so many typos, mate.
No, no, but listen, yeah, I think that we've in terms of the squad and in terms of the build of the squad, you know, we're kind of happy with that. What we need to now see is a real kind of continuity with the way we play. We need to get a real balance about how we play. We need to see performances time and time again. We can't be seeing a really good performance and the next week we see a layoff. You know, we've got 18 games to go, 12 weeks to go. We need full focus, and we need to play every game like it's a cup final in order for us to get anywhere close to where we need to be. So the players know that, I know that, the staff know that. I'm sure the fans know that. So we're going to be going for it every single time we're out on the pitch. We're going to be going for it. We have to. You know, and hopefully it'll be enough to have a good end to the season.
And we'll end on some injury updates. How are the likes of Lawrence Maguire and Luke Offord at the moment? Yeah,
Offie's probably slightly closer than Lawrence, so we feel Luke might be even included in the training for next week, next Monday. We're hopeful. Lawrence is a little bit behind that, and then obviously the longer term one in Nathan Thompson. So yeah.
And Craig McGillivray, I think, was probably.
Oh yeah, Craig. Yeah, so. Broken or fractured rib was the problem there, so we're looking at probably maybe a couple of weeks with that one as well. So yeah, disappointing to miss Craig.